Hello. I would like to welcome all of you here in the webinar room with me this morning. I'm so happy that you could make it this morning. And let's have a look at where are you from. Oh, I see. WA, Angela is in Sydney. Hello. Thanks so much. Yes, there's just a little bit of a delay. Anne is in Melbourne. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. So I don't want to waste your time. So I would love for us to obviously just quickly jump in and to get going, because this morning is all about you and it's all about getting the right things done by the 30th of June, which is financial year end in Australia. But obviously, it's also about getting all the right things done in your business, in general, and obviously planning for the new financial year. That's super exciting. If you have any problems with seeing my screen or anything else, please just let me know in the comment box. At this point in time, I'm assuming you can see everything. So the things that I would like to cover with you this morning is, well, firstly, there's going to be quite a bit to cover, and therefore I would love you to stay focused. I would also love for you to stay till the end because I have some exciting news to share with you. And then there is a workbook. On my side, it says that I have been sharing the workbook right here in the webinar with you. So if you can please just give me an indication of whether you can see it or not, that would be great. In the meantime, let's get this party started. So first of all, to make the most out of this webinar for you this morning, I would like to suggest that you resist distractions. Now, this is so easy because there's always notifications coming in, and there's email notifications, there's maybe social media notifications. But to give yourself the best chance of succeeding in this hour, I would love to ask you to please switch off your other notifications. And thanks, Angela. I see that you got the workbook and it is printed. That's absolutely great. Thank you. So the second thing I would like to ask you is to resist multitasking. I don't know if you do know, but research has actually shown that when we multitask, it's sort of as if we're smoking weed. Um, and they have found that our IQ drops by up to 10 points when we're multitasking. So I know it's a myth, and I know that sometimes our women feel that we can multitask, but trust me, I don't think we can, and that has been proven by research. So if we move on from there, let's just quickly have a look. I want to ask you, why are you here this morning? So if you can, please just quickly type into the chat box for me. Just why are you here this morning? Are you here to learn about planning? Or what exactly are you here for this morning? I'm going to give it a second or so. Maybe I see a few other people also joined us, so that's all good. Maybe I can give you a couple of examples of why you should be here this morning. So perhaps you are here this morning um, because you don't really know where your next lines are from. Or perhaps you are here this morning because it feels as if your business is sometimes running you instead of you running the business. Also, it could be that you are here because you set big goals in January, but it's actually been a little bit more challenging than you thought, and it was taking you longer than you thought it would take. So if any one of these three apply, please just type in a 1, a 2, or a 3. So it was, you're not sure where your next clients are coming from, your business is sometimes running you, and obviously also, or you set big goals, but you haven't reached them yet. I noticed a couple of comments coming in. Thanks so much for that. I see planning my online business. That sounds great. Experiencing some growth. That is excellent. And I also saw that a few people were saying that it sometimes feels as if the business is running them. And obviously also, we sometimes have a plan, but it also doesn't always pan out. Okay, so let's quickly fix this for you. in the hour that we have together. So I would like to tell you that this morning, if you would love to end 2018 feeling proud of yourself and also feeling proud of everything that you've accomplished, then you are certainly in the right place. Because today we are going to look at the following few things. So firstly, we're going to look at the 5-step formula to map out the last 5 weeks of this financial year. And then obviously you can use the same process to map out your new financial year, which starts in July. We will also look at 3 mindset shifts that will help you to crush overwhelm and keep you on track. And I will also share with you the big secret that high performers know that help them to always finish what they start. I think that sounds great, doesn't it? I'm also planning on sharing super practical action steps with you that you can go back into your business after this webinar and immediately apply. So just quickly put it for me in the comment box. Yes, I've got this, or I'm excited, or put any questions in there for me if you have any. I'm just going to give it a sec to see what comes in. I saw more people feeling that their businesses are running them, and a few more feeling, obviously, that they can do with some planning. So let's do this. Okay. So the 5-step formula for crushing your big, hairy, audacious goals. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Scotland before, but this is a hairy coup. And I actually adored them. And when I found this photo, I just thought it's really appropriate for, crushing your big, hairy, audacious goals. So the first mindset shift that I would like to introduce you to this morning, and this is a very important one. This is a mindset shift that will help you to stop the cycle of procrastination. We all fall down that spiral from time to time. It will also help you to just stop the busyness and to be more productive, and it will help you to actually combat burnout. Now, what can this be? This is a secret that the top 8% of all achievers in the world know, and I certainly want you to know this too. So, what's the drum roll? What's the big secret? It is the vision. The vision is the thing that will help you to stop procrastinating, and it will also help you to stop burnout. And this is, I'm talking about your big vision, and I'm also talking about your short-term vision. Okay, so let's just have a little bit more of a think about here. Essentially, you started your business with a certain vision in mind. And, maybe you started your business to have more time. Maybe it was to have more freedom, to do the things that you love, or maybe it was, a combination of all of this. The reality is the vision is what keeps you motivated when the times get tough. And in this photo here, you can see the Wright brothers. Now, the Wright brothers obviously created the first plane that could actually fly. And before them, there were a few planes, but they didn't work that well. And so this is a picture of them and one of the first flights that they took in 1904. Now, I can assure you, just like us in current days, that they had loads and loads of challenges that they had to deal with. And I'm sure that there were many days that they wanted to give up, but they kept on having their big vision in their mind, and that is for them to obviously create a plane to fly. Now, again, this is all about you this morning and thinking about what the big vision is for you. Why did you start your business? And if it's okay with you, I'm quickly going to share with you how my vision changed actually over the years. Now, brace yourselves for a bit of a laugh, because this is me and my big hair in December 1999. So in this photo, I'm in London. I was living in a commune, and I was about to, my working holiday visa was about to expire. And I had this vision of, well, I really wanted to go back to South Africa, but I wanted to do something different. And then the opportunity came up, which was to start a recruitment agency in South Africa to recruit teachers for the UK market. And when I heard about this opportunity, I was like, yes, this is definitely for me. And so I actually got I sent in a proposal, and I actually got the partnership with the UK-based company at that point in time, and I went back to South Africa to start this. I guess what I didn't know when you look at me here in this picture is I certainly did not know how long the hours will be. That is, it's going to take to make this a success. I was certainly not breaking even in that business for many, many years. And unfortunately, I also thought at that point in time that work is more important than relationships. So I actually sacrificed in the process of building this as a successful 6-year business. I sacrificed 2 4-year relationships. Unfortunately, I never took holidays, so I burned myself completely out. And in the end, I was stranded with a lot of health issues from constant, headaches, IBS, all sorts of things that I was just plagued by. And I'm sharing this message with you because initially the vision was to create a business and to have success at all costs. And it's certainly not the way that I would recommend in hindsight to go, seeing that there was a lot of sacrifices that I had to make. And so then I changed my vision, and I have been able to create now a business for myself where I can travel often with my husband, and we travel sort of quarterly. We go to all sorts of places in the world. I've now been with my husband for about 12 years, so that's a huge improvement on my previous 4-year broken relationships. And I would love to share the formula with you that I've been using to keep me motivated and to allow me to have a location independent business. So just quickly in the chat box, just say yes. Please give me permission, and I will go ahead and share this with you, because this is actually bringing us up to the 5-step formula. So just put a yes in the chat box that I know that you're still there. So for the first step in the 5-step formula is your vision. Thanks so much, people. I have a couple of yeses. I'm very happy about that. Thanks so much. So the 5-step formula, the first step in the 5 steps is your vision. It's your big picture. So I want to turn it over to you, and I want to say, what is your big vision? There's a space in your workbook where you can think about this, and you can jot down a few things. But what is it that drives you in your business every single day? Is it maybe to have more time available to spend it on the people and the projects that you love? Is it financial freedom, financial security? Is it to be able to have a location independent business? And this all boils down to what is basically your definition of success. So, it doesn't help that we just follow the media or what we think is right. We really need to dig deep and to find out, what will it look like for me to have a sustainable and a profitable business. And it also just doesn't help to capture this vision in our heads and to keep it there. We actually need to make it more concrete. And so I'm going to show you 2 ways now in which you can make this concrete. But first, let me just quickly ask you, just a yes or a no in the chat box. Do you have a vision statement or a vision board? Just a yes or a no, or maybe just tell me which one of the 2 you have, but is it a vision statement or a vision board that you perhaps already have? And while I wait for those answers to come in, I am going to share with you the difference between a vision statement and a vision board. So Lisa says yes, she has a vision board and has a vision statement. Excellent. So I'm speaking to people who already know the work. That's great. So the vision statement, there was my question. Do you have a vision statement or a vision board? If you haven't answered yet, please let me know which one of the 2 it is. In the meantime, we're going to have a look at the first example. And so this is my personal example that I thought I'll share with you this morning. But my vision statement is where I say that I am running a six-figure location independent consulting business. I'm traveling to new locations quarterly, meeting interesting people and living my passion. And through my speaking, my training, and my writing, I show business owners how to build a profitable business that will support their lifestyle, where they have money, time, and freedom to realize their full potential. I am making a difference. Now, for the people who have vision statements, I'm not sure how you wrote your statement, but I have found that if you write it as a positive affirmation, as if it's already true, although some parts of it might not already be true for you, uh, then it actually works better than just writing it, as a normal statement. So if you write, I am making a difference or I am doing this already, then it actually has more power than just a normal statement. The second option that you have here is obviously your vision board. And I've had vision boards in the past, but I have found that it's not completely working for me. And that's why I've decided to rather have the vision statement. So for me, I've printed mine out and I've put it on the wall and I look at it daily to remind myself why I'm doing this, especially in the days where I want to procrastinate or where I feel exhausted and not sure if I can actually continue. So if you want to share anything around your vision statement or your vision board with me, please do so. In the meantime, I'm actually going to give you a bit of a truth bomb. So this is the first one for the morning, and that is, don't wait for it to be done because it never will be. And what do I mean by that? I have shown you with my own story that sometimes we have a vision that we're chasing. At that point in time in my life, I was chasing a successful business and mainly money and what it can do for me. And then I have realized over the years that this is not really what I want. So your vision will never be completely finished. And it will also constantly grow and evolve just like you. So now that we have dealt with the vision board and we know that it's a live document, I would also like to encourage you to review it quarterly together with all the rest of your goals. And so what is the second step in the five-step formula to get us going? We now have number one, so we have the vision. So what is the next step? The next step here is to map it. You need to know where you're going to go. And this is the part where we're really going to jump in and really map out your goals. So this is the part that really excites me, a lot. So what we need to do is we first of all need to define our goals. And then we need to create a strategy to reach those goals. And we can do this by asking ourselves a very simple question. So the question there would be, what are the two key things that must happen for me to feel successful by the 30th of June 2018? Okay, so this is relevant for obviously when you plan your goals for the last 5 weeks of this year until the end of the financial year. But I also want you to ask that question for the next 90 days, which will be July, August, and September, which is the next quarter. But what are the two key things that must happen for me to feel successful by the 30th of June? This is important because you are actually defining what your own definition of success is. And if you can maybe just pop in, anything that you feel that you must do by the 30th of June for you to feel successful. So that could be, I need to reach my money goal, or I need to launch my product, or I need to create my online product. It can be any of those sort of things. And I would love it if you can please pop a comment for me in the comment box. I'm just going to give it a second or two because I know that there is a delay. Also, what you can do is to obviously write down what the two things for you is that need to happen for you to feel successful in your workbook. Okay, so we have a couple of answers. Thank you. It's to update your business plan. That sounds great. And it's also to refresh messaging. That sounds great. For a better appeal to my target market. That's a great goal to do. And I think it's certainly doable in 5 weeks. Also, updating your business plan is doable. And someone else said, create and launch my lead magnet and kickstart my list building. Yes, you can definitely do this in the next 5 weeks. So let's have a quick look at a simple goal planner. So what most people do is they set a goal in January, and then from there they sort of keep it in their heads. Maybe they even wrote it down, and that's it. And then they wonder why they don't achieve the goals. A very simple way to achieve the goal is the simple goal planner. And the reason why this is not in your Oh, so I'm sorry, this one is in your workbook. But all I want you to do is to just notice what we're going to do here. So for this one, we list our goals over here in this column, and then we break it down into 30, 60, and 90 days. So this works perfectly if you are at the beginning of a new quarter. And in each one of these columns, you will outline what needs to happen every 30 days to move closer to your goal. So for instance, if we look at the example of launching a new product or a new service, in the first 30 days, you will outline that product or service and you will define what is needed, the resources, the people, etc. Then in the next 30 days, you will start to build or create that product or service. You will create your marketing material and maybe even perhaps create a sales funnel if you have time. And then in the last 30 days, which will bring you up to the end of a quarter, you will finish your product, you will start marketing it, and maybe you will launch at the very end of that quarter. So in terms, let's say you decided that you wanted to increase your leads. In a quarter, then what you could do is you could outline your lead magnet. And I did not know that Lisa wanted to create a lead magnet, so this is perfect for her. So you can outline your lead magnet and create it in the first 30 days. Then you can create your sales funnel. So that pretty much means it's your landing page, it's where people will download it, it's the actual download, it's the follow-up emails, and you will obviously start marketing it and launching it. So if you have a question around the simple goal planner before we move on to the strategy map, just pop it for me in the comment box and I will get to it. So now I'm going to show you with our strategy map how we actually break this down into quarters and then months and even weeks if you want to go that far. So there's our strategy map. You have this one in your workbook. And this is about taking your goals and then breaking them into smaller steps. Everyone is always talking about eating the elephant. Um, and you eat an elephant by taking it step by step or bite by bite. And this is the same with your goals. You take the big goal that you have for the next 5 weeks or later on when you plan your new quarter, and you will actually write it in these boxes. Now normally, depending on how much time you have available in a week, it's maybe only advisable to do one big goal. Certainly in the next 5 weeks, I would recommend that you only focus on one goal and finish that in the next 5 weeks. If you have more time, or maybe it's the beginning of a quarter, you can actually have up to 3 goals where you can work on. And I recommend that you also use between 3 to 5 steps where you outline the basics of how you're going to make this happen. So let's say, for instance, we're going to look at examples now, but let's say it's the lead magnet again. Then there's certain things that need to happen. And I want you to keep it simple and just limit it from 3 to 5 steps as to what needs to happen for you to actually be able to start that goal. The reason why we map it out in 3 to 5 steps is because sometimes we get overwhelmed and it feels too big, and then we struggle to start. And I definitely don't want you to struggle. So I am going to show you the first example here. I've actually made up 2 examples. And The first one is, let's say you want to create a product or a service, or maybe you just want to tweak a product or one of your services. So you would list your goal here, and ideally this is a 90-day goal. Obviously, for those people that want to tweak their business plans or messaging or anything else, you can put that in there for the first 5 weeks. And then from there, you will actually start outlining the tasks. So that would be deciding on a target audience, outlining that product or service, working on your messaging and your marketing, and then building or creating that product or service or promote and launch. So what you're essentially doing is you're creating 3 to 5 buckets, and then from there you will put smaller tasks into each one of the buckets. Let's say you want to increase your sales. Things that you could be doing is to contact existing customers with an offer, to do regular follow-ups with new inquiries. I've actually done a workshop on this recently, and I found that nearly 8 out of 10 people say they follow up only once with a new inquiry that came in through their website or email or whatever, when in reality it can take between 7 to 12 touch points before someone will buy from you. So regular follow-ups with new inquiries is super important. One of the other steps could be to increase your sales is to get referrals from your past clients, or to obviously run a promotion. So this is our first example here, and we're now going to move into how do we take it from here, and we break it down into monthly tasks. But first, another truth bomb for you. The goal is fixed, but the strategy is not. What do I mean by that? When you look at increasing your sales, for instance, and something is not working for you, you thought you're going to run a promotion to increase your sales, but it's not working for you. It doesn't mean that the goal changes. The goal still stays increasing of your sales. Um, all the only thing that will change is you will just change tactics and maybe choose a different strategy. So I hope that makes sense. And I also wanted to share one of my favorite quotes with you, which is, vision with action can change the world. And this is exactly where we are at the moment. Number one, the first step in the formula was a vision, having your vision and being clear about what success looks like for you. And number two was mapping it out. So this is where you're starting to take action. So vision with action can change the world. Just so that I know that you're not away, not asleep, um, just pop a yes or a hi or I've got this in the chat box for me. I just want to check that everyone is still wide awake. And now we're going to move over, while I'm waiting for those answers to come in, I'm going to move over to the third step in our process. So it was vision, map it, and the third one, is commitment. And I see people are still here. Thank you so much. So no sleeping. That's great. I'm very happy about that. So the third step in our 5-step formula is commitment. And this is about promises to yourself. I cannot tell you how important this is. You know, I want to ask you, just say yes or no in the comments box, but have you ever broken a promise to yourself? And let's just keep it business related. Have you ever said, you know what, this week I am going to work on my lead magnet, or this week I'm going to work on my messaging, and then by the end of the week you look up and you're like, oh my word, where did the time go to? I didn't do it. Or I have many times said, I'm going to cut out sugar, and then before I know it, I had another ice cream. So I see yeses, and of course, thank you so much. So it's not just me. I know that all of us break promises to ourselves, and this is one of the main reasons why we actually don't reach our goals, is because we break these promises. And so the next mindset shift is about how you look at the time that you schedule to work on your business in a week. So this is a biggie. I want to ask you, and you can just pop it in the comment box for me, would you miss a meeting with a client for no good reason? Would you just say, you know what? Oh, I saw I had this meeting today, but no, I just don't feel like it. I know what my answer would be. And also, would you miss an appointment that costs you $1,000 a week to attend? Nope, certainly not for me. I don't know for the rest of you. Please let me know. And the mindset shift that I want to instill in you today is that you need to look at your 90-minute blocks of time that you are supposed to put in your calendar. And to block that time off, you need to treat it the same as you would treat $1,000 appointment or a client meeting. This should be non-negotiable. And unless you are dead, then I don't think that you should cancel these appointments like ever. Okay, so the thing about the 90-minute blocks of time is that they are really like $1,000 appointments, because the work that you do in those times that you've blocked off will provide thousands and thousands of dollars for you in future. What are some of the comments that comes in here? Great examples. Thank you so much. We should be putting a value on this time. Absolutely. And so for some people, they would like to put an hourly value on their time. So next up is another truth bomb, because this goes hand in hand with committing and making promises to yourself. The truth bomb is that if you committed to get it done, I will find it in your diary. And I'm not sure what I will find in your diary at the moment, but hopefully, if you have blocks of time and client meetings and everything else, it's all in your paper diary or in your digital diary. So now that we have your goal, and we also have the strategies that you decided that you will need to make it happen with, it's time to break down that strategy into monthly and into weekly actions. And I call this commitments. These are the promises that you make yourself. This is the stuff that I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going to do this week. And this is what I'm going to do this month. And together, all of those actions will compound and to help me to make a quantum leap into actually achieving that big goal that I have for this quarter. So, how do I do this? Well, I normally start by asking myself a couple of questions. And the questions that I like to ask myself to get clear is, what actions will I need to take on a monthly or a weekly basis to get me to that goal? What needs to happen first, second, and third? So maybe you've already listed the actions like you've done before, but maybe you just jotted them down as they came up for you. And now it's time to actually order them and say what will come first, second, or third. By when do things need to happen? So this is a very important one, because if there's not a timeline to a goal, it can just stretch into infinity, and we certainly don't want that. So by when does it need to happen? And is there any new skills that I need to learn to be able to achieve this goal of mine? So let's say you want to increase your sales conversions. That means that you want to take the leads that come into your business and you actually want to make more of them paying customers. But you know that you're not really, you can sharpen up on your sales skills. Then one of the skills that you need to learn, or at least practice, is possibly your discovery session that you run with clients, so that it's smooth, it's smoother, and obviously also that you can get your message across a little bit better. So that could be a skill. If you want to create a lead magnet and you don't have a lot of technical knowledge, there might be things that you need to learn about how to set up an email template in MailChimp, for instance, and how to get that form on your website. And lastly, I think it's always important to ask, who can help me? I sometimes think that as solopreneurs, we think that we have to do it all on our own. But sometimes it's easy to do a swap with someone else. So if they have a skill that you want and you want their skill, then it's easy to do a service swap. So the fact that you maybe don't have money is not really an excuse. So let's see how we can chunk this down. Okay. So this is our first example here, and this is how we're chunking it down per month, depending, and you can even go per week depending on how much detail you want. So this is what you'll focus on each week or each month to create your goal. Sorry, to realize your goal. So if we look at the example of creating a new product or service, in week 1, you can say, I'm going to decide on my target market, on my target audience, and research the pain points. In week 2, I'm going to outline the offer. In week 3, I'm going to outline the messaging and build the landing page. In week 4 and 5, I'm going to build the sales funnel. And in week 6, I'm going to promote it to my list, and then I'm going to prepare for my launch. Just quick in the comment box, just type in for me yes, a yes, because then I know it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, please ask me the question that you need to ask. But otherwise, I just need to see a yes, that we're still on track and that this makes sense. So you essentially take the big goal and you say, you look at the time that you have available each week to work on your business. And maybe you cannot do 60 or 90 minutes a day. Maybe you can only do 60 or 90 minutes twice a week. So it's looking at the available time that you have. And then from there, you actually break it down exactly what am I going to do in the next couple of weeks. Thanks so much. I see a couple of yeses, so that's good. So I'm going to move on to the second example here to show you how I've broken that one down. And this was the one to increase your sales. So in week 1, I see that one slipped over to the next slide. So in week 1, I'm going to decide which of my products and services will give me the biggest return on investment. Now, I hope that you know if your products and services are profitable. What I find with a lot of clients when I start working with them is that they actually don't know if their products and services are profitable or not. And that's a very scary thought, because it could mean that you think that you're working at $150 an hour, but in reality, you sometimes only work at $80 an hour. And we certainly don't want that for you, because then you're not going to reach your money goals. So the first step here would be to decide which products and services will give you also the biggest return on investment. So first, they need to be profitable. And second, what is easy for you to deliver? That's what you're looking for. Then in week 2, you will have a look at contacting your existing customers and then offering them that product or service. In week 3, you will create a marketing campaign. So this involves your emails, your landing pages, everything else. In week 4, you can make the offer or market the offer to your database. And then in week 5, you can get referrals from your existing customers. So this is a solid plan that you can follow to increase your sales in a month. But what if I want to chunk it down even more than this? Let's have a look. This month, I'm focusing on increasing my sales. That was by my big goal. And we're currently in week 2 of that month. So if you want to know what to focus on each day of the week to increase your sales, then this is what you need to do. So on a Monday, you could check that your offer is ready and you could create a list or a search on your database. On a Tuesday, you can then start contacting the customers and make that offer. On Wednesday, you can follow up with unavailable people and send emails to the people that weren't available or that were even available, a follow-up email. On a Thursday, you can follow up with the people who showed interest but who didn't buy from you yet. And then on a Friday, you can start onboarding your new clients. Now, this won't work for everyone. And some people don't like to do things in as much detail as this. But if this is you and you are a detailed person, I can assure you that it will definitely work. So next up, I want to talk just quickly to you about the SMART commitments that we are making to each other. Now, your commitments need to be specific and they need to be measurable, just like your goals. And you also want to be ambitious, but you also don't want so much of a stretch that you're just setting yourself up for failure. So the SMART goals here is contact past clients. That's quite specific because you know who your past clients are and you need to call them, so it's clear what to do. The second one there is spend 30 minutes making calls to clients. That's measurable. You can look on your watch and you can say, yes, this is 9 o'clock and I'm going to make calls from 9 to 9:30, so you know when it's done. Go to one networking event this week. This is actionable. Yes, I can definitely do this. I can maybe not go to 3 networking events in a week, but I can certainly maybe go to one networking event in a week to increase my sales. And when you tell me that you're going to build a sales funnel in just 1 week, then I'm going to have to say, I think that is super ambitious and certainly a stretch unless it's your business. Um, so I think I'm fairly tech savvy, but I can certainly not build a sales funnel in 1 week on top of my normal marketing and on top of my client work and everything else. So basically what I just wanted to leave you with here is you can map out your weeks to ensure all tasks get done, but please make sure that this is not a to-do list. Schedule each one of the activities that you want to get done in a week into your diary with time blocks. Okay, so who's ready for step 4 of the process? So far, we've covered number 1, which was the vision. Number 2, to map it. Number 3 is the commitments we make to ourselves. And now we are on step 4. So the fourth step in our 5-step formula is to keep showing up. Now, this step is all about overcoming roadblocks. I have never met a person who are pursuing their goals and who have never had any obstacles to face. And sometimes our obstacles are internal and sometimes they are external. I quickly want to ask you a question. So just pop it for me in the comment box, please. What makes it easier for some people and harder for others to reach their goals? Your mindset. Sometimes we focus a lot on the practical stuff and we actually forget that our mindset can really mess us around. And so that's why I just quickly wanted to talk to you about having a growth mindset. Now, I don't know if you ever heard of Carol Dweck. She wrote a book called Mindset. It's quite academic of nature, but I absolutely loved it. And what Carol was saying is that in a growth mindset, people believe that their abilities can actually be developed through dedication and through hard work. And they believe that their brains and talents are just a starting point. And this view creates a love of learning and a resilience that's essential for great accomplishments. Oh, and you've read the book. I'm so happy. Yes, I love it. I think it's an absolutely great book. So for now, in this step, I just quickly want us to have a quick look at some of the beliefs that we have that can hold us back from our goals. Yes, so there's quite a few. It's the belief of nothing works out for me. I always start, but I never finish. I've tried before, but I always tend to fail. And no matter what I do, it's just never enough. That's some of the first set of the roadblocks in terms of mindset. Some of the other ones that we tell ourselves is it's not working, but what we're actually saying is it's not working for me. Just don't have time to do this. I follow Mel Robbins on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. And she said something that really stuck with me. She said, if you don't have time to do this, instead of saying, I don't have time to do this, just say it's not a priority for me right now and see how that feels. So I don't have time to exercise today. My health is just not a priority for me. I don't have time, to work on my lead magnet this week. So it's just not a priority for you to find new clients. That question really hit home for me and certainly put things in a lot of perspective. So there's also, I don't have money to do this. I've briefly said that one of the ways that you could change this is by actually obviously doing a service or a product swap with someone else. And I don't have help. And so the problem with all of these roadblocks is it causes overwhelm. then it's not even to mention all the external distractions that we have to deal with. So the roadblocks we just had a look at are all your internal distractions. Your external distractions are these ones. It's all the notifications coming in. It's your kids calling you. It's your partner calling you. It's a beep, it's a buzz. It's someone calling you or stopping you and saying, would you mind just quickly telling me X, Y, Z? Or just can I quickly pick your brain? Um, you know, or it's possibly a spouse saying, are you working again? I cannot believe this. So there's certainly external distractions that also keep us from reaching our goals. Another one that keeps us from our goals is obviously the inner mean critic. Oh my word, this is the worst of them all. They make you question yourself. What if you can't do this? What if you fail again? Um, or a big fear that I find with a lot of people is actually the fear of success, which is, what if this works and everything changes? Sometimes we fear success because we are used to our comfort zone. And although it might not be comfortable in our comfort zone, the reality is that it's still better than moving completely outside of into the unknown. So the fear of success is certainly definitely real. And also, the last one there is, what if you waste your time again? We have all tried things, and this is your mean inner critic talking to you. Now, unfortunately, what this does is it's creating a lot of fear. And that is why sometimes we end up knowing what to do, but we just still don't do it. Just put a yes in the comment there if that sounds familiar. So, you know what to do, but you just don't do it. You start the day with the best intentions or the week with the best intentions, but then you get too busy, to work on your business or on your goals. Or fear tells you that, I just don't know where to start. Throw hands up in the air. Let's make another coffee. Let's go onto Facebook type of thing. If anyone can relate to this, I have a couple of yeses. Thank you so much. So it's not just me again. Maybe in the past you've actually felt, how can I, why can I not get past this point? I always start, but then I don't finish. I have found that the main thing that can help you to beat the fears, to overcome the roadblocks, and to consistently work on your goals is accountability and feedback. There is nothing like a deadline to get you in action and to get you to do a couple of things. Also, the feedback that I'm talking about is weekly feedback to yourself. You can do daily reviews, you can do weekly reviews where you actually have a look at what worked well for you, what didn't work during the week, what lessons did you learn, and obviously what you can do better next week. So accountability and feedback, I believe, is the antidote to overcoming roadblocks and achieving your goals. What if I told you that there is a way to be 95% sure that you will actually reach your goals? Would you be interested in hearing what that is? Just give me a yes or a no in the comment box. Hopefully it's a yes. So the American Society of Training and Development did some research, okay? And what they found is that you only have a 10% chance of reaching your goals if you have an idea in your head. So it's not written down anywhere. You just think about it and you think, I need to increase my sales, or I need to create a lead magnet, or I need to update my business plan, but it's just in your head. You give yourself a 50% chance of reaching your goals when you actually have a timeline and you create a plan of action. So this is already sounding a lot better. But then you give yourself a 65% chance of reaching your goals when you share the commitment. So this is why you sometimes see people share publicly on Facebook, I'm on a diet, or I'm not going to have, I'm going to do dry July. So I'm not going to have any alcohol for July. And that's also why groups like, personal training type of groups actually work well because you signed up, you paid the money, and there is a commitment for you to actually pitch up to that class or you lose your money. So commitment works really well. But if you want a 95+% chance of reaching your goals, you need to have a specific accountability meeting with a committed person per week, per fortnight, per month. And so, what I would like to suggest is that you get yourself an accountability buddy. Now, this cannot be your best friend because the problem is that you need to be able to keep the other person accountable if they didn't deliver on the goals in that week. And so, if it's your best friend, you obviously don't want to ruin the relationship. You still want to have a wine with her over the weekend. So, that's not going to work because you're going to tell her XYZ excuse as to why you couldn't make it. And she's going to say, oh, that's fine. I totally get that. So you cannot choose that person. Normally, it's a peer in your industry or someone you respect, someone that's sort of at an equal level than you, but you respect each other and you have different skill sets. And then it can actually work really well for you to have weekly, fortnightly accountability meetings with the person where you say, next week, this time when we speak, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And then next week, when you speak to the person and you haven't done it, then that person will have to ask you why not, and what held you back, and what can you do better in the next week. So, do we have any questions at this point in time? Because I'm about to move into the last step, step number 5 of our formula. So I can guess that you know what the last step in the process is going to be, and that is going to be accountability and support. So to recap, step number 1 was to have a vision to keep you motivated and to keep you from burnout and procrastination. The second step is to choose a goal and then to map out the 3 to 5 steps that you need to start to make it happen. From there, you can chunk it down smaller into months and into specific weeks. The third step was commitment. Okay. And that is committing to yourself and committing to the actions that you're going to take this week and being aware of all the roadblocks that can show up, which was step number 4. And then that brings us, obviously, like I said, to the very last step that we now have in the process, step number 5, and that's your accountability and your support. So I want you to have a quick think, who can support you or where can you find support? Sometimes there is great networking type of groups where you can go to on a weekly basis to get support because it certainly gets lonely to work on your own. You can also, like I said, you can create an accountability buddy for yourself or ask someone to be your friends, or do you belong to a mastermind group, for instance, or do you have specific people that can support you in your journey? That would be great if you can tell me if it's maybe networking, a mastermind, if it's someone specific, if it's a coach, if it's a mentor, if it's a friend. In the comment box, just let me know who you have. So Anne said, I have a business colleague who I work with on accountability. Yep, that sounds great. That's exactly what you want. So that's a wrap of this webinar this morning. And I really hope that you got value from this. And I just quickly wanted to share with you one of the things that I've mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, which I'm really excited about. I'm calling it 30 Days of Get It Done. Okay, so what is this about? So we just spoke about planning and we just spoke about how you can still tick off one or two of the goals that you've had on your list, possibly since January, and you still didn't get to it up until now. And that's why we did the planning session today, to help you to chunk them down and then to obviously get it done by the 30th of June 2018, which is the end of the financial year in Australia. And so, to help you with this, I thought I'll create a new Facebook group, and I'm just going to call it 30 Days of Get It Done. And I would like to invite you to join us in this Facebook group if you would like a little bit extra accountability and inspiration and motivation to get this one goal done. So, what do you get? You pretty much get 30 days of working with other like-minded business owners, the people who has been on this webinar with us this morning and the people who are listening to the replay. And you get to work with all of us together on your one goal that you want to reach in the next 30 days to end off this quarter and this financial year on a high. And you will get daily support. I will also do live Q&A calls in that Facebook group. And generally, this is just going to be a little bit of a kick up the butt to help you to get it done so that you can feel proud of yourself by at the end of this quarter and the end of this financial year. And so the only question that remains is, are you ready to take this to the finish line? And I hope that the answer is yes, and I hope that you are going to come and join us in that Facebook group. So you might wonder, what's the investment? Well, the Facebook group is free. That is certainly a bonus. So there's actually nothing stopping you from joining us because it's not costing you anything. I guess the only investment that you will have to make is to dedicate time in your diary to actually get that goal done by the end of this month. And so that could be, you might want to finish off your business plan, you might want to review your branding, you might even want to get your lead magnet done, or any other goal that you had on that list since January and you still didn't get to it. So I would love for you to join us. And yes, I just want to leave you with, what would it be worth to you to reach that one goal that you've had on your list all the time? I'm sure that if you are able to tick off that goal, that you would be super happy with yourself, you would feel very proud of yourself, and that you can actually go in the next quarter strong. So I really hope that you will join us in the free Facebook group. It is a new group, like I said, so there won't be hundreds of people, which is great because that means that you are going to get lots of individual attention and prodding and prompting from me, and obviously, hopefully, from the other members too. And then we can all celebrate together at the end of this month when you have reached your goal. So I hope to see you there. In the email that you have received this replay, there's also a link that you just need to click to join the Facebook group, and then I will give you access in there. And from there, you can state what your goal is, and from there, you can just comment on the posts that will come up. And obviously, you can join us in the Facebook Lives where we will do some Q&As and try and help you to overcome challenges in the next 30 days so that you can reach your goal. Uh, so I hope to see you there, and thanks so much for being here.